How's it going, everybody? It's Freeze here. With the Max class revamp around the corner, I initially just wanted to make a short video where I talk about my idea of a BS specific ability. But that might have been a rather short one, so after watching the last Friday Night Ops, I decided to talk a little bit about all the upcoming changes and new weapons that they showed us during the stream. If you haven't watched the stream yet, there should be a little pop-up in the video right now that you can click, or you can just check out the description of the video. Fast forward to 2 hours and 18 minutes and you'll see what I will be talking about here now. Before I start though, the loadout I use in my videos can usually be found in the description down below. So should you ever wonder what I'm running with, that's a place to check. In this case here I'm running dual Nebulas, because back when I bought them I had no idea if they were any good or not. And courtesy of the last double XP weekend, my max is now sporting Kinetic Armor Level 5. That's all that needs to be mentioned, I guess. But back on topic. First of all, the upcoming flamethrowers. I'm not sure if everyone is aware of that, but back in tech test during early beta, we already had flamethrowers for the max unit. If I remember correctly, SOE took them out because they said it's too big of a hit on the performance. Wanna know a secret though? No one really noticed, because after using them once for around 10 seconds, no one bothered again. There were 3 reasons for that. First, the damage was kinda mediocre. Yes, you were able to kill people with them, but every other max weapon just outclassed it. Second, its effective range. And I'm not talking about effective range in the way NC Max users do. They claim that they can kill you past 15 meters and all of a sudden a dual hacksaw just vaporizes you at 30 meters. That wasn't and probably will not be the case here. The flames will just stop after a certain distance. No lucky stray bullets that might net you an assist or maybe even a kill. You will be absolutely prone to being kited. Be aware of that. And third, and probably the most horrible reason why no one used it. Hang on, I prepared a little clip to make this as easy to understand as possible. This is how it looked like when you were using. You couldn't see jack shit. Everything was just bright orange in front of you. Hit markers are also red, so it doesn't come in handy, I guess. I seriously hope that SOE remembers that this was the main reason why no one bothered with them during the early testing. It certainly wasn't the minor FPS hit that you took when using them, at least not for me. Once they are released, please test them in the VR and see whether you can follow a target and keep it in your crosshair. Maxes already suffer from this little area in front of them where they can't hit anything. Now imagine that on top of that you're pretty much blind and you won't even realize when your opponent slips through you because of non-existing player collision. I mean, I'm not expecting crystal clear view, but what we had before was a little bit over the top. And no, my flames weren't that exaggerated, believe me. What I also hope is that the flames will severely affect the IRNV scope. That thing needs more drawbacks and I think the flamethrowers might be it. Next up, the new rocket launchers. They just showed an unfinished version of the TR1 which seemed rather unimpressive, both sound as well as effect wise, but we won't know until we see some actual damage values. What bothered me a little though was that he said these rocket launchers won't just be dumbfire but will also get lockdowns and other stuff. I really don't want to see a TR max with double strikers. There are already more than enough lock-ons when fighting TR, we don't need another few coming from the max class. They haven't shown us anything for the NC or the VS, but I can't really imagine having a Phoenix equivalent because of just how impractical it would be, and neither can I imagine a dual Lancer because of the already present problem with the comets and their overlapping projectiles which make them insanely inaccurate at range. I'm curious about what they will do with them, and I really hope they won't make the currently existing AV weapons totally obsolete. What they also showed us was the NS grenade launcher for all 3 factions. And oh my god, that thing looks borderline broken. I know nothing of its damage and don't know whether the rate of fire, magazine size and so on will stay the same as shown, but can already see a ton of frustration being caused by them. Carpet bombing entire areas isn't really something I want to see. Just imagine a fight for the generator inside a biolab, but with 10 times the amount of grenades on the floor. I don't really want to play out that scenario in my head. I really don't. When you look at the weapon in a 1 versus 1 kind of scenario, it is extremely weak though. I can see a dual grenade launcher max being soloed by normal infantry with purely guns, to be honest. but as soon as there's proper protection, it'll be an absolute nightmare, and flak armor will be even more of a necessity as it already is. Balancing that weapon will be a slippery slope, and I just hope they will manage to do it. So now the reason why I actually wanted to make this video. The 3 Empire specific max abilities. What we know so far is that we'll be given a copy of our current tank special ability. The TR max gets a lockdown, the NC max gets a shield, and the VS max, we don't know yet. All they told us is that they won't let it fly. They can't really give us a mag burner because that's pretty much the already existing charge ability. But most likely it'll be something that covers our faction trait, maneuverability. Let's take a closer look at the TR ability. The lockdown ability will most likely be used by a lot of the burster maxes. Extended mag on both arms and an increased fire rate will absolutely decimate everything in the air. So on top of having to deal with 17 striker lock-ons per base, you'll also face bursters on steroids. My main gripe with this is the following though. We already see a lot of these spawn room shield heroes that just shoot out of the spawn room and you can do nothing about it. Combine that with the lockdown on bursters and it'll be something extremely frustrating. What I hope SOE will do is that they won't allow TR to deploy their maxes inside the spawn rooms. Just like they shouldn't allow engineers to deploy their turrets inside. That goes for all factions, of course. They already have a coded area with the pain fields, so it shouldn't be too hard to link those to the lockdown deploy abilities. I just hope that it won't affect the ammo pack. For the normal TR AI max, I guess we won't see many with lockdown. Rockets will end their life rather quickly, and except for maybe a couple of surprise kills, constant relocating is probably a must. We'll see what kind of tactics TR will come up with. For the NC, now we get the shield. To be honest, I can see this end badly. I mean, it works for the Vanguard, but it only works because vehicle battles last longer than a second. So a 5-second shield in a 30-second battle has certainly a big impact, but isn't necessarily an I win button. But when we look at infantry fights, where your life can be ended within milliseconds, let's say 2-second shield can be game breaking. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to complain about NC maxes again before we even see how the shield works out, but every scenario I can think of makes this shield seem either totally worthless or borderline overpowered. If this game had a laugh animation, I'd certainly bind it to the same key as the shield. Now for the VS ability. What I personally want to see is a sort of skate or glide ability. What I mean by that is basically take the charge ability and modify it so I can also strafe, move backwards and so on. Just have complete movement control and make it a toggle, not a one-time use without a stop button. When I had this oh so unique idea, I was also thinking what games already had a similar ability. And no, not Tribes, that skate ability is not what I'm talking about. But 2 others came to my mind. The first was X Steel, a free-to-play game that's already been cancelled, but on top of having an awesome skating ability, it also taught me the meaning of pay to win. Never ever seen a bigger rip-off in a game. Imagine you have to spend 95% of your certs to repair damage of your equipment, and then double the weapon prices. That's pretty much what it was. And the second game was Lost Planet 1. I actually installed it again and played it to make sure I remember correctly, and yeah, it really was fun. I also did some recording. I don't know whether this gameplay now is any good or not, but that's not the point. I hope SOE manages to give us a mobility ability that actually feels like one, and not a clunky one with barely any control over it. I guess that's all I really wanted to say. Despite me being a little negative, I guess, I'm really looking forward to the upcoming changes, and I have faith in SOE that we'll see some really nice new abilities and weapons. Some will probably need some tweaking, but that's okay, I guess. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, please. I hope you liked the video, and enjoy the rest of the Lost Planet gameplay. Stay tuned for more. Cheers, guys.